Ladies and gentlemen, it is finally time for the finale of the 2023 DTM World Championships. We're here live at Okayama International Circuit for the Japanese Grand Prix. A new champion to be crowned. But he's gonna have a lot of work to do to get that championship in the bag. We've seen so much drama here at Okayama. Just 1 year ago, it was Justin versus Sander. The championship was decided by 1 point. This year, it's 5 in contention, 1 for the title. It's Martin Toth versus the world. He's won everything there is but 1. He's missed out on 1 race in the process, but he has a 100% win record in the DTM Championship for every race he's competed in. And yeah, you're seeing it right. It's raining. It's cloudy. And the weather is just gonna get worse. Who is gonna win this one? Is it gonna be this man right here? Martin Toth, the #1 driver at Ragnarok. Our youngest race winner, at only 12 years old, pilots that Mercedes. Is he going to pull it off? Is he going to become the youngest world champion Caribbean Motor Racing Sim Club has ever seen? It's only a matter of time. It's not too long until we get this race underway. The Caribbean Motor Racing Sim Club DTM World Championships. It's the grand finale. We're here at Okayama. It is time to go racing.
Ain't no love like a real love, but it goes so fast. All tied up like a captive. I'm on to you. Used to pay to my life, standing on rainbows, playing it cool. I don't felt this in ages, and I've no more patience. So won't you please stay a bit long? You're making me strong, making me strong. Stay a bit long. You're making me strong, making me strong. You stronger.
is finally time to crown a champion for the 2023 DTM World Championships. It is raining here at Okayama. The drivers are struggling out there. It's cloudy, and oh, that weather's just gonna get worse. Go on board with Martin Toth here, and you can absolutely see it is pouring down here. And the drivers can barely see where they're going. Welcome everyone in the chat as well, and for everyone who's also viewing the stream. We have Yuka Farmer Gaming, we have DSP, we have Bradbury, and the many watching at home and all around the world. Just checking out this weather here. It's really bad. The drivers, I haven't heard any complaints just yet, but I think once this race gets underway, oh, it's not gonna be the prettiest sight in the live radio feed. There you see, we do have a couple drivers on track here with many, many more to come as the timer ticks down to qualifying. And oh, this weather is just getting worse. And you can see it's just so foggy out there. You can barely see a thing. On board with Danny Nasir now. And there you can see it's barely visible. But I have heard from the weatherman it's gonna get worse. And there you see he just disappears in the clouds here. Can barely see any of these guys. Checking out Calvin Roper and Martin Toth as both of them are getting lost around here. Make sure if you're new to Caribbean Motor Racing Sim Club to hit that subscribe button. And you'll be able to use the live chat, talk to me. Let me know your thoughts. Cheer for your favorite drivers. And I'm just mesmerized by this weather here and how bad it's getting. 11 minutes to go. That's like the only topic here. Look at that. I can only hear cars. Oh, it's got even worse than the last lap. Just imagine racing in this condition. It's gonna be very difficult for these drivers here. Can't even see a single thing. Now, I have heard that this weather is not going to last very long. This is gonna be very short, and I think we should be good for a clear qualifying. There you see Danny Nasir off the track, missing his braking points. I think that's gonna be a common trend here. We have heard qualifying should be clear. That's gonna be good for the drivers, but once we get to the race, now that is going to get very interesting. And there you see the marshals out there. They can't even see a thing either. Hopefully they got some walkie-talkies so they can hear if there's an incident on track. But this is going to be a very difficult race. We're hearing in the paddock pen right now, Martin Toth, who's, I think he's lost right now. He's parked on the side of the track. Martin Toth is saying to us, this is going to be a very dangerous race. He's just, I think he's lost as well, waiting for the storm to blow away. He's just parked it. Only the toughest of drivers are going to survive here at Okayama. But the DTM World Championships giving us one final twist. If you were with us 1 year ago, the semifinals were held in similar-ish conditions to this. the semifinals at Barbagello, the Australian Grand Prix 1 year ago, it was very, very dark. Today, we just got a whole bunch of fog. A lot of drivers joining into the session now. We do have the likes of Ian Lance, championship contender, hopping in there. Going on board with Martin Toth, he was very confident, earning the fastest lap point for the week. But you look at him now, he's got nowhere to go. Warming up the tires, going for a hot lap here. Let's check out those sector times. As we head into turn 1 here, where's the braking point? Just about found it there, hitting that apex. It's going to be a lot of tiptoeing around Okayama. Going through the fast rights and lefts, you see, you can barely see the car ahead. And this race is just going to get even more interesting when you think about these kind of conditions in the cars they got to go through here. Hopefully they got those fog lights. Coming to the hairpin now. You just got to really find that braking marker. Toss just about gets there. So far, Martin doing a pretty good job out here, as we can't even see them. Barely seeing them as they get closer to our cameras here, but the further they go, yeah, they're just invisible to us. Into the last set of corners here. It'll be very interesting to see what Martin Toth can do. And he slows down, actually, trying to find this final corner. It's like everyone trying to relearn this track. We do have a couple cars up here, almost like they're battling with each other. Here we see Luca Andretta and Danny Nasir tiptoeing around the track. Oh, bit of oversteer for Luca. There he gets it going. Final quarter now. And with 6 minutes and 25 seconds to go until we get to qualifying, we have had confirmation that the weather is going to get better in time for qualifying. There you see him disappearing from our screens there. Danny Nasir just getting out the way for Luca Andretta to roam free now. Ooh, Tavar just running out of road there, going a little bit wide. With 5 minutes to go coming up. Let's go head into the radio room, speak with the drivers, and hear their thoughts before we get into this one. See if I can get there now. And now being in the Discord, where you can join into the conversation. There you see. Radio is working well, so anytime a driver speaks, you will see who it is under that live radio on the top right of your screen. Weather really reminiscent of Suzuka last year at F1. The weather at Suzuka was terrible, and it's kind of giving us these exact same signs. Also similar to the Belgian Grand Prix 2 years ago for the 2021 season. Just really bad weather, but luckily these cars are fitted with the best wet weather tires. Tavar hopping in the pits now.
See it?
We do hear a couple of drivers communicating here. But this is just a sample of what's to come. There's a lot of these drivers sitting in the pits. Martin Toth is out there, still basically seconds down of his time. Keep in mind, the rain doesn't really affect these cars as much. It's more of just the visibility. There you see, the rain is very light. It's a bit of a drizzle. Nothing to write home about. There you see Martin, who was the fastest driver all week. In fact, on 19.587.
Yes, you're going you're racing or what?
Did you earlier?
Yeah, you're racing or what?
Yeah. I would like to. I came downstairs to practice some laps, and the computer won't switch on.
Oh, okay.
No, we had a power surge. Apparently, we had an outage for about 5 minutes. Well, I guess when the power came out, because it knocked all the dust and stuff out upstairs too. Right? So so this just, we fiddle around with it and it come on by itself. So, I know that.
So you're not trying to get on?
Yeah, no trying to get on. Now, let me see what the hell's going on here. Drive. Yeah, because I ran some laps last night.
I was on last night. You weren't on? Or you come on later?
Yeah, you went off just before I came on. And I get in full power, but the car is missing all the way down the straightaway. I got to strip the pedal tomorrow. I got to take out the pedal and clean it. I looked it up,
Martin
but
Toth spinning
there's
there.
a problem.
Here in some of these drivers.
It's the accelerator, the sensors,
in
the
discussion,
accelerator.
that's Lance Nasir.
They get dust inside, obviously. Because they said that's the only problem you get. But the thing is that I got to take the whole pedal apart, all 40 screws, before I could get to this stupid little flat piece of thing. I'm telling you, man. I'll be all right, quarter run some laps. You're still in practice, right?
Just a minute something left.
Yeah, it's
So
okay.
Lance Nasir entering into the server now.
Run some laps.
Also, which is going to be the pit entry?
The same one that you go into all the time.
No, there's two, because you could take it before the last corner, or you could take it 2 corners before.
Once you get a cut track, if you take the one closer,
I didn't try that.
I think it does.
I tried the longer one. The one that's 2 corner before, that's the one I've been using.
Yeah, you got to do the
That's
one.
what I was using.
Yeah, you got to do the one before the double right, or else I think it will give you a cut track anyways. But you can try it.
Raul, I can't see a thing.
Yeah, this weather's gonna blow over for qualifying.
I hope it's not in the race.
Like I said in chat, there's really a 50-50 chance of either it being like this for about the first 3 or so laps, and then it will get back into like an overcasty condition.
What kind of fuel are we going to run for the whole race, roughly?
Fuel? About 100.
Checkered
110.
flag out.
That's what I use it.
All right.
110 to be safe.
I just did. So hopefully that's going to work.
Let me see. Just barely being
And a
able
mandatory
to.
tire stop, right?
Yes.
Yep.
And there we see pit entrance here. And let's speak to the drivers. All right, with the final practice session complete, I welcome everyone here, and hopefully we should have a couple more people joining into the session soon. I'm hearing a lot of stuff about the weather, and as this fog is right now, It's going to blow over completely for qualifying. And so for qualifying, you should be seeing a misty kind of condition. If you were here earlier in the server, before we started streaming, that is how the weather is going to look for qualifying. So a lot more visible. But once again, just remember to keep an eye on drivers around you. Now, when it comes to the race, the server has a 50-50 chance of either being completely foggy like this for about the first 3 or so laps, and once we get on the grid, I'll be able to see all when the weather ends and starts. But as for now, it's going to be like a 50-50 chance for either heavy fog like this for about the first 3 to 5 laps, or it should be misty, which you're going to be experiencing in qualifying. But for sure, on the second half of the race, that will be overcast, so this weather will blow away. Of course, drivers who are using the paid version of Custom Shaders Patch, you're also going to be able to see a bit of rain on your screen. That's dropping down. It's a bit of a light drizzle on track, but the track temperature still stays the same. And you can also see that weather change in effect on the live stream. So as all drivers are in the pits except for one, I think. We are getting ready for one.
Yeah, you gotta cut track if you do the other one. So you gotta take the entrance to the pit, the first one, 2 corners before.
Alright, yeah, so the long way.
2 quarters or 4. Okay, I gotta look.
Alright, and with that, the final practice session is complete. Martin Toth tops the standings, followed by Daniel Williams and Tavar Clark. We are just 1 minute and 45 away from the green light going off in the pit lane to begin official qualifying. This is it, the final qualifying session of the 2023 Caribbean Motor Racing Sim Club DTM World Championships. 9 points for pole position. That's going to be up for grabs. Very important points for all our championship contenders. And this weather should definitely be blown away for the start of qualifying. So with 1 minute left to go, we just take a look at this track. And as you can see, from the grandstands, you can't even see a thing. Looking around here, can just about see the pit lane and all the cars inside. We go look into the pit lane one last time in some of these iconic liveries. Hemidal powered from the driver Brandon Smith. Then we have Martin Toth in the Ragnarok Mercedes, the RDN Racing Galaxy Green, driven by Danny Nasir. I know it says my name up there, but Danny is also running the same car. Kale just running a standard livery there, as well as Martin Webster and Luca Andretta. There's Daniel Williams in the RDN Galaxy Blue car there. Ian Lance running generic livery there. Lance Nasir in the TCOD car number 65 Lexus in that red there. Danny Nasir, we've already got that done. Tavar Clark in this beautiful purple livery done here. Young Knight Racing, the Jamaican there, and DeVille Park running a standard livery, as well as this lone Lexus there. With the green light coming up, it's time for qualifying. Qualifying has begun, and the weather should be clearing up now. Best of luck, guys.
Oh, it is.
And with that, there you see, oh, it's so much brighter here. And for the final time, you're good. And for the final time, qualifying gets underway for the DTM World Championships. Here we go. We're gonna catch the first driver on the list here, which is Martin Toth. He leads us. Here he goes, flying past our screens just enough to see the track here. Just gonna do a quick audio check onto the stream, make sure everything is good to go. To Rome. faster. Screen's just... All right, apologies for that echo. But coming around the final corner, as tradition, the first driver gets a little fun commentary lap. Coming up to turn 1 now. Hard on the brakes in the 4th gear, getting that car rotated there. Into turn 2, keeping it in the same gear that you're in. Let's also watch those gears at the bottom of your screen. Now up into 5th gear. Now coming up to this very wide turn here. You want to do the braking as early as possible to then put the throttle right down while in 3rd gear. And now onto the back straight. Doing 240 kilometers, still climbing. Hard on the brakes into the hairpin, into 3rd gear. Martin Todd's gearing, I will say, is very, very different to all our other drivers here. Not shifting gears as much. He believes that the car feels stable enough. And coming around the final couple corners here, Martin Todd looking pretty strong. Using all the exit curb. And across the line. It's actually not going to be a valid time, because Ian Lance is going to put that valid time down to 1:21.0 from him. Martin Webster going up into P2. And Tavar Clark with a 1:21 goes on provisional pole. Next on the track, putting in a lap, DeVille Park, 1:23 for him. Dan Nasir getting a bit of cut tracks for him. He actually takes that car back into the pits. Brandon Smith, P7. Daniel Williams, P2. That's what they need. Checking out where Martin Toth is. Going around the last couple of corners up here. Is this a quick time at all? I don't see the sector times, but we should see them on the next lap. Tavar Clark brings out the yellow flag, takes that car into the pits. Last couple of corners for Martin Toth. That Mercedes looks very strong around the final corner. Racing across the line. What is that time going to be? Provisional pole to 19.8. And the first driver to enter the 19th in this qualifying session. What can the other drivers do? Daniel Williams just up on his personal time in the first sector. He comes around to end the second sector. Let's see where he's at. Comes across. And he's actually going faster. 2/10 purple. Faster than everyone on track in the second sector. Looking really good out here. Keep that car stable. I know the track is a little bit damp, but don't let that bother you at all. 1 corner to go for Daniel Williams. Around the final corner using all the exit curb. Blast across the line. Is it going to beat Todd's time? Yes, it is. It's a 19.7. The Guyanese puts it on provisional pole. What can Martin Todd do about it? He can go faster, he says. First sector, faster than the competition. Second sector, matching with Daniel Williams. 1 sector to go. 2 corners to go now. First corner complete, looking very smooth. Final corner now could be very easy to mess up if you use too much of the inside curve, but looks really clean than his last attempt. Comes across the line, and he's gonna take back provisional pole. It's a 10th faster. It's a 19.6. Where's Daniel? Daniel is going faster. First sector, completely faster than the competition. Looking at Tavar Clark, yet to put in a time. Daniel Williams comes across the second sector. It's going faster, ladies and gentlemen. Couple quarters to go. Oh, he runs deep. He runs it very deep, and he's off the track. Can he save it? Yes, he does. But he's gonna get that lap time deleted. And you gotta wonder, this is a championship contender. All the pressure is on you. Brandon Smith in the pits there. Martin Toth cannot improve, so both drivers finding themselves no improvements on that lap there. Tavar Clark ending off sector 1. Don't see any improvements from him. Might be a cut track. Danny Nasir moves up into P7. Daniel Williams in the pits there. Probably a splash of fuel to get right back on track. Interestingly, Ian Lance has found himself fastest overall in the first sector, but cannot get it done in the second. He's going to be a driver to look out for. He currently sits 4th. Martin Webster on the back straight. Arriving at the hairpin now. Hard on the brakes. But looking very clean in that Audi. Luca Andretta beats out Martin Webster's time. And Luca now to 5th, hard into the wall. Martin Webster goes, and he's going to be going into the pits. Hopefully he's doing all right in there. It was a bit of a hard crash. Pit lane looking busy. Ian Lance just exiting out pits there as Tavar Clark comes across the line to start another fastest lap. Martin Toth has exited pits, and he's warming up those tires on the back straight there. Daniel Williams coming around the last couple of corners here in the Aston Martin. Remember, Daniel and Martin were the two main drivers from the very beginning of this championship, and currently they're sitting on the front row to end this championship off. It was Daniel who won that day in Monza, passing Martin Webster on the last corner of the last lap of the first round of that Italian Grand Prix. What a race that was. And check that out, Calvin Roper for Young Knight Racing goes up into P5, pushes down Luca Andretta and Martin Webster. So we see a couple of drivers currently, some personal improvements, but no overall improvements. There you see Tavar Clark especially, who's got 2 corners to go, and looks to be improving his time from a 121 to possibly getting into the 119s. So Tavar crosses the line, and yes, he's going to get into that 119th with a 119.993. Danny Nasir into the wall, into the pits now. Daniel Williams across the second sector line goes purple, fastest overall, looking for Martin Toth, who finds himself matching that first sector to his previous lap. Comes across for the second sector as well. Let's see if it's improvements. No, he's actually going to match his time. And Daniel now around the final corner onto the front straight. Now, can he find a 10th to improve in that final sector? No, he cannot. In fact, he loses some time there. Martin Toth trying to find some time as well in the final couple of corners. Tavar into the pits. Martin Toth comes across, and nothing to write home about. It's a 19.7 for him, no improvements. Daniel Williams finds himself in the pit. So the top 3 drivers in the 119s. Can we see Ian Lance get in there as well? We know he's a very quick driver. Cale Vaden Roper winning last round's semifinals, and actually proving himself very well, as he scored a very good result in the in last week's race at the Sebring 12-hour virtual. If you haven't checked that out, do go ahead and look into it. It was our second highest viewed stream of, well, the history of CMRSC, with first being the 24-hour Le Mans virtual in 2022. So, with under 5 minutes to go, Martin Webster improves his time with a 121, but he's not able to take on the likes of Calvin Roper and Luca Andretta. Tavar Clark into the pits as well. These guys are slowly running out of time. Here comes Toth across the line. It's not going to be an improvement in the first 2 sectors, but the third sector, he's finding some time. Daniel Williams on the back straight. And on his outlap now, looking to warm those tires up. He has Luca ahead of him, and he could choose to back out just a little bit. Give himself some space, or maybe he can risk it and have some slipstream on his next lap. We're going to have to find out shortly. Zavar still sitting in the pits, probably waiting for the right time to come out on track. Martin Toth currently tying his personal best through this very slow section through Piper. Now, Danny Nasir brings out the yellow flags. I'm not too sure why. And check that out. Martin Toth goes quicker in the second sector. Can't find any time to approach that first sector, though. But the final sector, still up for grabs. We know he can go faster. A 19.2 is obtainable. But with these rainy conditions, I think that might be the maximum he could do. Can he prove me wrong across the line? Yes, he can. It's fastest lap. It's a 19.5.11 for the young man, Martin Toth. Provisional pole has never felt better. Stop the count, he says, as he's on pole. Daniel Williams and Tavar Clark, what can they do? Have any of these drivers gone faster than a 19.5 this week? I do not think so. Daniel Williams now approaching his next lap. DeVille Park personal best for him. PA with that 22.3. Minute 49 to go. Next week out, we go back to America as this championship concludes. We have a doubleheader for NASCAR. Probably our most exciting championship yet. It's still in full swing. Next week, we go to Fontana. It's Auto Club racing. And next week and the week after that, we go to Phoenix. Some very interesting 2 rounds coming up your way. And let me tell you, maybe if you're not a fan of NASCAR, I do recommend you check it out. Martin Toth, faster, a 19.4. Into the pits he goes. That's his qualifying complete. Pole position possible now. He can't defend it anymore, but that's the best time he could do, a 19.4. What a lap from him. The next time, Daniel Williams, a 19.7. You can just tell. It's a huge margin. So drivers going around the track for the final time. So yeah, if you're not a fan of NASCAR, I still recommend you check it out, because Caribbean Motor Racing Sim Club brings you the first NASCAR Cup Series. The first Cup Series in Caribbean sim racing history. And let me tell you, Daytona was an absolute wildfire. It was one of the most entertaining races we had yet. Crazy 3-wide racing, pack racing, whatever you like to call it. It's something you guys definitely need to check out. Next week, it's Fontana. The week after that, it is Phoenix. Now, right now, we're focusing on the last couple seconds, because Daniel Williams is not going to make it around the checkered flag. And I don't think Tavar can do it either. The checkered flag is out, and P2 and P3 won't be able to improve their times as the checkered flag comes out earlier than they expected. The calculations are wrong, and Martin Toth has got pole. Do we say that just yet? Ian Lance 0.2 off in the first sector. Second sector, yeah, he's even more off the pace there. Calvin and Roper, P5 there. Luca Andretta into the pits. Martin Toth, oh, just off the track there. It's not going to help his case. Across the line stays P7. DeVille Park already crosses the line. Danny Nasir. Second sector, now he's a second off. Kale on the grid. Just keep in mind, there's still drivers on some laps now. I'll let you guys know when the track is clear. Brandon Smith, Danny Nasir still left to go. That little warning there for Kale, just to...
Yeah, I'm sorry, Ian.
And Ian also apologizing there. Danny Nasir crosses the line, no improvements. And the last driver to come across the line, it is Brandon Smith. No improvements from him. All right, track is clear. If you guys want to do some practice starts, you can now before the game locks you in the pits. So with qualifying completes, we say congratulations to our top 3 drivers for that qualifying session. Beautiful stuff from them. All right, final qualifying session complete. Congratulations to your top 3, Martin Toth, Daniel Williams, and Tavar Clark. That is it. The track is open. The guys could do one final practice start before we get underway. Let's get a good kind of angle for this. So, what will the weather be for the race? We have 2 minutes to figure that one out. It's only a matter of time. Martin Toth staying in the pen. This weather is going to be very tricky. It's not pleasing at all. That qualifying session was a bit difficult for the drivers, but it's now up to Mother Nature to decide the weather now for the start of this race. Keep in mind, there is a 50-50 chance of full fog or light drizzle and mist. I am very excited here. The final round of the DTM World Championship about to get underway shortly now. This is it. This is where it comes down to. "49 seconds left to go." We take a look at pit lane one final time. And then you see the stacked drivers here. Still raining out here. Still a bit of light drizzle. Oh, 24 seconds left to go now.
How much fuel for the race?
I think if you want to be safe, you could just drop in a full tank. Well, 3, 2, 1, and the weather has been decided. It's going to be...
Is here mandatory pit stop?
Fog. Yep. Just like every other race, one mandatory tire change. So I've now got the weather here. So this fog is going to be for the first 10 minutes of this race. The conditions that you're seeing now, first 10 minutes. After that, we should be getting into a misty kind of condition, the exact same conditions that were in qualifying. That should last about 15 to 20 minutes. And for the race, for the last part of the race, it should be overcast. So all the clouds should be cleared up for, I'd say, the last 20-ish minutes of this one.
Yeah, dude, I can see all the names for the cars, but I can't see anything but black.
Yeah, you guys are gonna have to tiptoe around here.
I got a black 10 minutes now.
I got a black screen. I can't see anything.
Try rejoining.
Is the track like realistic or?
It's fog.
Yeah, but 10 minutes for this deep fog, 10 minutes, yo.
Yep.
Yeah, like, is the track
That's not right, yo.
You guys are gonna have to tiptoe around here, so just keep in mind that the drivers around you and use those headlights to good use.
Is the track like slippery?
No. So the track is completely dry. Every weather effect in this game is all just like visual, but other than that, it's you won't feel any rain.
Excuse me, Raul. You can't even see the cars on the street.
I can see them.
I'm watching YouTube.
I
Yeah,
can see. I can see.
It was the same thing.
they don't look very well good on. Just look like a set of smoke.
Well, this is the one final twist in this one, and it's all for the championship. But luckily, this weather's gonna blow away. You guys got a minute left.
Quick question.
Yep.
Is there a pit window?
Yeah, no, there's not a pit window. So anytime in this race you could pit, except for during virtual safety cars. During those VSC periods, the pits are completely closed. You guys have 1 minute to go. Make sure you guys have those setups ready to go. And pit stop strategy set.
If you take the wrong pit entrance, you'll get a cut track or you'll get held in the...
Cut track. So take the 1-2 corners before.
The first one.
Yeah, the first
I-
entrance that you see.
I got no idea, Richard. I've only been on here for like... Well,
It's before the double left. All right, let's keep comms clear now.
Double right.
Double right. My apologies. With 30 seconds left to go, the grid is set. We can barely see them. It is time for the finale of this one. We go up close and personal with the cars. 1 round to go. It's Todd versus the world. Who's going to be crowned champion at the end of this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lights for the final time at Okayama. We go racing! And you can barely see the cars just coming into frame here. Martin Todd, Daniel Williams side by side.
Restart the race, man.
And there you see a couple drivers saying restart the race. I'm not too sure why we don't see any cars off. It's kind of just 2 areas here. Ian Lance on the inside. We can barely see them, but he's getting past both of them. It's 2 by 2 on the back straight. All these drivers trying to be careful around here. Staying on the back straight. Ian on the inside of Martin Todd. Going into the hairpin. Still 2 by 2. Kale's in there as well. 4 drivers going for this victory. Ian on the inside, trying to get Martin Todd, just gets him, and he takes the lead, Ian Lance. Now Martin Todd back on the inside. Tries to get the move complete. Can he get it? Contact is made. Championship leader out of this one, already out the lead. Contact already made to Ville Park now, catching up. This is exactly what Daniel needs. Contact was made from Ian.
My bad.
Definitely going to be looked at after this race here. But Ian Lance leads this one, followed by Daniel Williams and Cale Roper. Martin Todd in P4. This is not what he needs for his championship. P5 to Ville Park, and he's going to give a lot of pressure. Luca Andretta already off the track. Tavar Clark and Danny Nasir trading positions for a moment there, but the front pack is still close. Cale Roper, Daniel Williams, Ian Lance, the only guys that can see each other on track. Kind of going to be helpful to them. 3-second gap already made. Daniel Williams, however, on the outside. Can he get the move done? Can he complete it? Almost. Ian goes a little bit wide there for a moment, loses the back end. But he keeps hold of this position there. Cale now just off the track. But Daniel and Ian fighting. 2 championship contenders with big points on the line. Both of them still tiptoeing. The 2 Aston Martins lead this one at the front. Around the final corner now they go. 8/10 the difference between Cale and the leaders. And Martin's gonna have a lot of work to do to get up, but Ian Lance is very confident around here. 22-0 for him, and again a 22-0 for Martin Todd. Now he sets the fastest lap. So luckily time flying by. Brandon Smith has already got our first retirement out in this one. And now on the outside as Ian defends the inside of the hairpin. Daniel goes for it. They're side by side through the hairpin. Shades of Justin and Sander. Daniel almost losing the back end there. Kale's off the track. And Martin Toth gets that B3. Not good for these two drivers up ahead who need Martin Toth to stay away. Daniel and Ian both fighting each other when I think they should work together. Maybe not overtaking, but just trying to build a gap from their championship rival. Looks like we have Danny Nasir making a move on Lance Nasir as they... Ooh, Danny runs off the track momentarily as Ian Lance... I think it was actually Daniel Williams set the fastest lap, but quickly traded back to Martin Toth. Oh, Daniel spins it! Saves it out the wall!
My bad.
Multiple cars off the track. And Martin Toth now up into P2. Do we see a struck-in car? And Martin Webster is out of it. Now that's a shame. Martin Webster, P2 in the championship, has already forfeited this one. When yellow flags and VSCs could put you back into this race, you can't be losing hope this early on, especially 39 minutes left to go. This race has just been flipped on its head, and the championship picture has run wild. And now Martin Toth has one car in his sight to get into the lead of this one. Not too long until this weather blows up. Ian Lance, 21.3. Martin Toth, 20.9. Martin Toth is going quicker. Close behind, though, of Daniel Williams is Cale Vinaroper. Lance Nasir off the track. Trying to get back on. And just about. Looks like he's good there. A second now between Daniel and Cale. Or I should say, actually, no, it's Daniel and Martin Toth. Do we have that rear view camera? Yes, we do. And now, Daniel... Oh, actually, hold on a second. I might have missed it for a second. But Daniel Williams inherits P2. I'm not too sure what just happened there. I took my eyes off the screen for just a moment. But Martin Toth has now been demoted into third all over the track now. 2 minutes until this weather blows over completely. And we can get some clear vision. But I don't think Martin Toth is quitting just yet. Daniel and Martin both missing out on that apex there. Here comes Martin. 6/10 the difference now. And there you see them going into this very thick fog. 6/10 now, and Ian Lance still leads this race. Oh, there you see Lance Nasir off the track and gets out the way completely. Oh, Lance still off the track. I'm not too sure why. Is he just trying to let go of the drivers ahead? Here we see Luca and Tavar fighting for position in the storm. And Tavar now really close on the back. 20.7 for Ian, fastest lap. Daniel Williams, 20.4, new fastest lap. The top three trading fastest laps as they get more and more confident on the track, and they're only going to get faster as the weather clears up. Tavar trying to find a place to overtake Luca. Lance Nasir ahead. Will that come into play here as they now come up to this next corner here? Tavar's going to send it down the inside. Can he get the move stuck? No, he can't!
Come on, Lance, man. Better than that, bro.
Lance Nasir!
I gave you the outside.
All right, guys. Let's keep it clear now. No need to be this hostile. And Lance Nasir not happy at all there. He says he gives the space to Tavar, and Tavar is not. All right. Let's keep it clear now. There's no need to argue about it. Lance Nasir frustrated, as well as Tavar. Tempers are flaring here in this final round. And there you see the weather. I can tell it is clearing up a lot now. All right, within the next minute, the weather should be getting better from this point. And there you can see it. Martin Toth can actually see more ahead, as now we can finally see as the clouds start to move away. Martin Toth is going to be on the charge. We take this battle to the skies. Into that hairpin now. And there you see, not too far ahead is the leader, Ian Lance. But this is your battle that we look at right now. Martin Toth is going to definitely gain his confidence back. As I go around the final corner now, Martin on the front straight. And Martin, there you see, fastest lap, 120.2. A 120.275 for Martin Toth. Oh, yeah, he's definitely gaining the confidence around here. Lance Nasir gaining a cut track now. And actually, no, he takes it to the pits. Probably for an early stop now. Martin Toth trying to get that draft off of Daniel Williams. Our main two guys here. Closest battle we have on track as well. And 33 minutes are left to go in this race. Around the final corner, there they go. I'm just waiting for these lap times. Across the line they go, 20.4, 20.1, and that is the fastest lap again. Daniel Williams under some serious pressure from his championship rival. There you see, 3/10 the difference. That Mercedes is hunting lockup from Daniel. Is Daniel cracking under the pressure? The Guyanese now on the back straight. As we watch this battle from the rear view of Daniel Williams, does Martin decide to send it? No, he doesn't. In fact, he gets even closer now on that hairpin. Next couple slow set of corners here. Well, the driver's got to be very patient. Oh my God, is that contact? Both of the drivers off the track. All right, virtual safety car deployed. Virtual safety car deployed. So, Ian, I need you to slow that pace down right now to 100, and pits are closed.
Very good, also coming down the track.
So no overtaking, no overtaking. Let's get caught up to the leaders. So our first VSC of the day, after two-car incident at the start of the back straight between Cale Vanenroper and DeVille Park. Luckily, no hard feelings. They get back on racing. But the yellow is out. $100 kilometers, please. 100 kilometers for the leader. There you see Luke Andretta in P4, followed by Tavar in P5. Keep an eye out, Luke and Tavar. You are catching up to the leaders now. They're currently entering the back straight. And we do have a couple more drivers now as Lance Nasir actually finds himself, I think, 2 laps down. He's a bit far away. All right, we will go green at the end of this lap. At the end of this lap, we will go green. So we're already hearing it now from race director.
Are you going to do 1, 2, 3, go, or are you just going to say go?
Just going to say green. Ian Lance just making sure.
Can you cough before you say green?
Ian Lance, they're trying to get every advantage that he can. All right, get ready. Remember, 100 kilometers. Don't exceed it. Here we go as the drivers come around the second to last corner. Green flag, green flag. And Tavar gets the jump on Luca Andretta, and we go racing. Take it to the skies. Coming up to turn 1 now. What a lunge from Tavar. He's actually got Martin Todd in the process and trying to get Daniel Williams as well. What a jump. Amazing start from Tavar. They all keep it clean. Through here as they snake now. Daniel now on the outside top. Dives in. Contact is made. And Martin Todd gets his position back. What a restart here. Ian now looking to the inside. Can he send the dive? He's committing. He's licked the stamp. He's locked up. Through the hairpin, DeVille Park and Cale, side by side. Back up to the battle here. Daniel Williams defending hard from Ian Lance, who's now lost his lead. Through the next couple corners, Ian sends it. But remember, he's got to keep an eye out for Martin Todd, who's right behind him. Tavar now looking to the inside. Martin Todd leaving the door open just a little bit there. And coming around the final 2 corners, it is Daniel Williams who's going to take that lap. And he's going to run away. And now Martin Todd's got some work to do now to get ahead of these drivers here. The weather has cleared up. Oh, Ian finds himself. His car is twitching side by side through the S's. Ian Lance, a clumsy mistake and to lose that position. A very bad mistake from him. And just like that, his position is gone. Can he get it on the straight? Can he do what he did to Daniel? Possibly get the send done. He looks for it. He initially now backs out. Tavar now, keep an eye on him. He's still in this one. As well as Luca. In fact, the top 6 all in contention. Now Tavar Clark looking very close to these guys here. Ian Lance still trying to line up a move, but now he has Tavar to watch out behind him. The very fast Jamaican in P4. Luca, I think, gaining a cut track there over the last two bumps there. Or the curb. Daniel Williams fastest lap at 19.9 for him. Kale onto the inside. Dives it. Sends it a little too deep. Luca now on the switchback. Going to the fast left-hander, and he's going to gain that position back. 7/10 the difference of these drivers up here. But 2/10 now back here. Kale still following very closely. Lock up from Luca. Kale has to avoid. Still spitting of rain out here. And looks like Daniel Williams has got himself a little bit of a gap to run away with now. 1.5 the difference. He's out the slipstream of Martin Top. But Ian Lance now puts the pressure on young Martin. And don't count out Tavar Clark whatsoever in this one. Tavar and Ian were battling for the most laps for those extra points coming into the end of this one. So both of those guys have the most experience on track, so expect them to be finding some places to overtake where you'd never think. And now Tavar, a lovely exit around the final corner. Finds him neck and neck in the same pace. A 20.8 for both Ian and Tavar, running very similar pace. But 2 seconds now separate the gap between Daniel and Martin Toth. Now Daniel's just gonna have to keep his head down. No more mistakes. And looks like Martin Toth has now built a gap behind Ian Lance now. Ian's now going to have to worry about the defense for that third place. Fortunate of you guys watching the stream. Thank you so much for tuning in this evening. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. If you want to get into the action, Discord is in the chat. It's pinned at the top. Join us and you'll go racing with us every Saturdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, getting in on this close action like this. You won't find better sim racing anywhere else but here, Caribbean Motor Racing Sim Club. Next week, we go to Fontana for the second round of the NASCAR Cup Series. But as for now, we have this race to worry about, the championship finale. Daniel Williams, 19.7. Fastest lap for him. And he's flying at Okayama. What can Martin Top do against his fellow competitors? He has a driver ahead who's just pulling away. What's going on with him? Behind, though, it's two feisty drivers who has way more experience than him on track regardless. It's gonna be a tough call for him. 5 minutes until this weather blows over, just 5 minutes. Clear skies are ahead. Complete clear skies are ahead. That's just race director talking to the drivers, letting them know that this weather is going to get better. And the rain is going to stop. And keep in mind, pit stops still are in effect. No driver has sent it in the pits. And we are already coming up now on the halfway mark of this race. .060 for Martin Toth. I think he's finally found his feet in that Mercedes, and as I say it, pit lane has now got its first driver. It's Luca Andretti. Hopefully he doesn't miss his pit box. He doesn't. Sits it in neutral, as well as Danny Nasir into the pit lane. Now the first two drivers to get into the pits Look out for them. Maybe this could be an undercut scenario. We know Luca was battling earlier with Kale and DeVille. So, could that be an undercut strategy to get himself in the top 5? We're going to have to find out soon. Check this out, though. Tavares got himself even closer to Ian Lance. As he slides, tries to find the gap. Very optimistic from Tavares. Contact! Ah, no! Just watch the aggression there. Tavar Clark, a little bit feisty in some places where I know I said earlier, places only these guys know you can overtake, but I think Tavar might have found himself a little too antsy there, as he's just trying to get past Ian as soon as possible. Onto the front straight now. Both of these guys are neck and neck. Of course, 22, 9, and 8, but they did make contact. But one thing's for sure, it's going to push them further away from that goalpost. Martin Toth is now 4.6 away from Ian Lance. That's not what these guys need at all. But at this point, they're just in their own world, battling for that last podium spot in third. We look at that rear camera of Ian now. Closer Tavar Clark is. Can Tavar send it? Look how fast that Audi is. Commits to the outside line, side by side, coming up to the hairpin now. Ian runs deep. Can Tavar do the switchback? Contact was made just slightly, but we allowed them to race into the slow part. One lap ago they made contact. This lap around, a little bit of space is between them. Defy the odds. That rear says on Tavar Clark's Audi. He defies the odds in every race we watch, and we call him our own little prime Sebastian Vettel. As you always find this man so fast, finding himself amazing overtakes in every race he's competed in. And Tavar Clark has found himself his next victim to play with. So we're hearing now the weather is getting better. The fog should clear out now in about a couple minutes' time. We look back at our two leaders now. It's Daniel Williams in front in the RDN Galaxy Blue. Good position for him in this championship. The only thing that sucks is that the man behind him is his championship rival who has way more points than him. And as it stands, Martin Toth and Ragnarok will become champions if the positions stay the same. Now Ian Lance, still a lot of work to defend from. And so far, out of all the drivers out on track, only 3 have pit. Lance Nasir, Danny Nasir, who's going a bit slow. Oh, I do say a position being made. That's Kale now entering the pit. What is going on with Danny? Danny, what's up?
The usual.
Is it the pedals again?
Yeah.
And that is not going to help his case there. Can he send it off the track? He's trying to get it working now. It looks like he has. Danny Nasir has had issues with his throttle in the last couple of races. No fault of his own. And I think he's just trying to drive with one hand navigating this track. Stewart's were looking to pull out the yellow if he was going to stop on track to fix that issue. But looks like he's good to go now. And we continue this race. Tavar Clark. All right, throughout the next minute, the weather should be at its final condition that will stay for the rest of this race. And Martin Toth enters the pit lane and says it's time for the undercut. Martin Toth in pit lane. And DeVille gets a drive-through for speeding. That is not what he needs. Toth, a quick stop from him. And he's back out on track.
Went through, James.
Luca Andretti overtaking DeVille in the pits there. Danny Nasir getting that position back. Oh, no. Lance Nasir, we just find him almost defending off of Daniel. This is the one time Daniel cannot lose any time. With an undercut, with the driver pitting before you, you're under immense pressure. Does Daniel go for the pits? No, he doesn't. He stays out. And we check this battle out once more. Tavar Clark now even closer, and Ian has said he's had enough and enters pit lane. And Tavar Clark is now going to be the one under pressure as well. Martin Toth with a fresh set of rubber. Around the final corner, his outlap now complete. Now it's time to fly. Ian now on pit exit. Martin Toth has sailed past him around turn 1. There we see the weather has got a lot better now. That is very good. What does Daniel Williams do? He's clearly under threat from the undercut now. At this point, does he just extend the gap? Hopefully, once he enters the pits, there'll be a VSC. I don't know. Oh, Lance Nasir just getting out of the way in the nick of time for Tavar. It's Tavar in P2. Martin Toth not too far behind, but remember the front 2 drivers still need to make their mandatory pit stop. Daniel not choosing that this time around, but Tavar does. Now this is going to be interesting. Tavar needs a good stop from the Young Knight crew. All right, here we go. Ian Lance versus Tavar. Tavar has entered the pits. He is now in his box. Where is Ian? There goes Martin Toth, claiming that positions now. Tavar is out. Here comes Ian around the last corner. It's a race out of pit exit. Has he done it? Tavar exits out of pit lane. He loses the position out. And Ian Lance's defense has worked in the pits. And a great strategy call. Ian Lance has defended from the overcut being complete. And that is a very good strategy move from him. Will we see something similar for Daniel Williams? That's going to be the big question now as he opened up that gap as DeVille Park gets his drive-through taken. And with now 13 minutes to go, it's all come down to this. Daniel Williams is the only driver on track who is yet to pit. However, he is going much quicker. 20.094 for Daniel Williams. We watched Martin Toth now as we try to figure out his lap time. Oh, he actually runs off track for a second there. That's not going to help. Martin Toth is pushing there. You see twitching the car there. But he's losing time in the progress. 20.4, 4/10 in one lap. Martin Toth, what do you do in this scenario? Your championship rival up ahead. He sits perfectly in the standings, but I know he wants that perfect record. So we go on board with him now. Lance Nasir just in the way there. Martin Toth's just gonna overtake him on the inside. Good sportsmanship there from both drivers, 26.3. Daniel Williams still out on track. Let me give you guys a little bit of a history lesson. It was round 1. It was the Italian Grand Prix. It was the first round of the 2023 DTM World Championship. Daniel Williams was the last driver to make a pit stop, his mandatory pit stop. Everyone else had made their pit stops except for Daniel. In the closing stages, Daniel had made that stop, and it was just enough to compete and eventually win that first round of the DTM World Championships. 7 rounds later, we are witnessing the exact same thing. A Daniel Williams in front, a hungry Martin Toth in second, but with the gap this big, it's up to only these two guys to make sure they stay consistent and fast if they want to compete. With 10 minutes to go, it's all come down to this. We still watch Daniel Williams if he makes that pit stop. 26.2. Looks like the time has really stayed in this area for this entirety of this lap. And Daniel still stays out. It's a waiting game. Martin Toth waits for Daniel to strike. As Daniel now comes across the line, this is going to be a time of a 1 minute 20.1, so a tenth slower than his last lap. We'll come back to Martin Toth in just a moment. Tavar Clark doesn't look like he's catching up. Ooh, Lance Nasir and Danny Nasir making sure they didn't make contact with each other. Around the final corner, Martin Toth goes. Remember, 20.1 for Daniel. And a 20.0 in the wall, Danny Nasir. He reverses on track. Can he get it cleared quickly in time? Just about. And a bit of a mistake for him. He sits in 8th while his teammate is up in 1st. 20.6, 20.7. The gap now looks like Daniel has found himself some more sector time in the closing of this lap here. We are under 10 minutes to go in this finale. Daniel still does not pit. And Martin Toth probably thinking to himself, what is he doing? A long stint like this? Are you kidding me? How are those tires still alive? Tavar Clark now losing a bit more time now to Ian Lance. Ian in P3 there. There we see Luca in a very good P5. Ooh, Kale sliding that car around that last corner there. We just saw Piper. Kale looks like he's trying to push to see if he can snatch that P5. With Kale on Young Knight Racing, it's going to be a lot of help with points. Once we get to the final calculation, 8 minutes to go and 1 extra lap. Daniel Williams has now found himself 27 seconds clear of Martin Toth. Daniel now just looking for that perfect in lap. And finally, I can say, Daniel Williams has committed to the pit line. Needs a good pit for him. Very slow for him. The pit lane is a little bit ahead, buddy. Slow down, slow down. There he goes. Does he get a cut? No, he doesn't, but that was a very slow pit entry. The drivers really got to practice their pit stops. I tell them multiple times. This is it. Martin Toth coming around the last couple corners here. Has the gamble paid off? Was Daniel too slow in the pits? Daniel now on pit exit. Here comes Martin Toth. Look on the far right side of your screen. There he is. They're coming up on the turn 1 now. Side by side. Has Toth done it? They're still side by side. Coming up to turn 2. Martin's on the inside. Daniel's on the outside. Our two championship contenders on pit exit. How close is this one? Todd now. Both of them locking up. But looks like Martin's got a better run. 6 minutes and 40 seconds to go. Martin, now what does he do? He has a hairpin ahead of him and a dive bomb that could be inside. Fakes to the outside. Looks to the inside. Lock up for the both of them again. Daniel's now on the outside. They're still side by side in the tightest part of Okayama. Now they finally go 1 and 2. This race is now shaked up. The two leaders now together with 6 minutes to go. Daniel losing the inside.
Come on.
Those tires got to warm up. Lance Nasir in the wall as well as Danny.
Leave your space, man.
I didn't know
They're
we were
out
doing
of
it. If you
sight.
leave your space,
They're
I will
on the
drive
back
it.
straight, so we
Sorry,
won't
driver.
call out the yellow. They're out of harm's way. Here comes Martin on the front straight once again.
Go down the inside. That's why I didn't.
Yeah, I didn't want to dive bomb you. I wasn't sure if you know.
All right. Let's keep it clear now. Still got guys racing. And Martin Toth now has got to stay with Daniel under no circumstance. He can lose this. This is his best spot if he wants to win this one. And with a perfect stop, Daniel was slow in pit entry. And we look in chat, Bradbury, this series and track work miracles. It was 1 year ago, it was Sander versus Justin. I see a history lesson. Martin Toth losing the back end. Sander and Justin making shockwaves here at Okayama 1 year ago. And after that race where the championship was decided by 1 point, we just had to come back here. Once again, Okayama deserves the grand finale of the DTM World Championships. And you're looking at it right now. Two of the fastest drivers throughout this whole series now have a couple laps to go. Daniel Williams, 19.4. Martin Toth, 20.3. Has Martin Toth finally met his match? This whole championship, Martin Toth, every time he walked onto DTM soil, he won it. If this championship was the same circumstance as 1 year ago, Daniel Williams would be crowned champion, but because of the scenario, Daniel's in. It's more of a Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg 2016. While Lewis leads this race, looming behind him is a man that he could do nothing about for the championship. We keep an eye on these two guys as they're the closest battle on track, arriving now to lap 30 in this timed race. DTM World Championship Season 2 ending off in a bang here. But looks like Daniel Williams doesn't want anything to do with Martin Toth in a photo finish. Lance Nasir up ahead. Hopefully he knows there's two leaders coming up behind him. 19.9 against a 19.7. That's Martin Toth's personal best, and it's 0.2 off of the Guyanese. Williams now has Lance Nasir to lap, and Lance just jumps out the way. And Martin Toth, that's not going to help him now. Actually, he might get him on the back straight here. Lance lets him go. Good sportsmanship for the two drivers, but now almost 2 seconds the gap between Martin Toth and Daniel Williams. This race coming down to the line with 2 minutes and 24 seconds to go. The chase at the end, just like last year. A lot of curb on exit. Martin Toth needs to keep his cool here. If he wants to get that perfect record, he needs to be calm. He needs to just Don't worry about the car ahead. Focus on yourself. And right now, that's not what he's doing. He's just off the track everywhere. He needs to be calm. 19.5 against a 20.2. A minute and 46 to go. And Daniel is looking so strong. Daniel Williams is finally going to be the first driver to break the record of Martin Todd's win streak for every race he's done in the DTM World Championships. Now, keep in mind, Martin Todd did not compete in 2 weeks ago's semifinal that went to Cale Vader-Roper, but that was because one of the reasons why Martin didn't win was because he wasn't even here. So we're going to let that streak still stay on as 6 races. Can Martin do it? That's all our eyes are on. But right now, I don't think it's possible! Yellows for Martin! He spins it! Off the track! It's a mistake you never even see he does! And check this out! Ian Lance is here! Another shade of last year, where Sander runs off the track and calls it GG's! Ian Lance now! On the tail end of Martin Todd! Are you kidding me? This race ain't over yet! A huge mistake! Martin Todd has just lost it completely! Here comes Ian Lance, 20.2 against a 20.8! It's now Ian's turn to dance! 8 seconds to go! Are we gonna see another photo finish in this DTM Championship? Oh my goodness! Shades of Sam Hornish Jr. and Elio Castro Neves at the Texas Motor Speedway in 2003. Could we see a photo finish in the final round of this championship? Ian Lance has possible chance to get P2. Ian's just gotta keep his cool. Now we know the Aston Martins are so quick around Okayama. I cannot believe it. What a race this has been from the start of the worst weather we've seen in any race to now a finale like no other. The final lap has begun for these drivers. Daniel Williams looks for his second career win of 2023, and Ian Lance is looking for another podium. And this time, he'll be even more satisfied if he takes a P2 this time around, rather than the semifinals. 2/10 now the difference. And now onto the back straight. Martin Toth just keeping away out of that slipstream. And Ian Lance is running out of hope. Running out of possibilities. The Mercedes is quick in a straight line. Both of them lock up. Going into Piper now. Into the short circuit the final time. The last time these guys got to touch these DTM cars until the end of the year at Race of Champions. A couple corners to go for him. Ian fakes it onto the inside. Looks to the outside. Cannot be done. We'll look at him for one more corner. Can it be done? I don't think so. We go to the leader. The guy in needs of Daniel Williams takes victory at Okayama. Martin Toth, has he held off? Yes, he has. Martin Toth is champion of the world. Martin Toth has done it, the youngest world champion of Caribbean Motor Racing Sim Club history. And what a race that was to the very end.
Good race, Daniel.
Wow. Martin Toth
Wonderful job,
is
Daniel. Wonderful
champion
job.
of the world. Daniel Williams gets his race win. Once again, the championship is over. And the guys celebrate. Let him have their moment. All the guys having a bit of fun. It's over. It's finally over.
Congratulations, Martin Toff, on winning the championship.
Yep, Martin Toth, you are champion of the world. You've done it. Our youngest world champion in Caribbean Motor Racing Sim Club history. Martin Toth, how do you feel?
It is really amazing, but I was consistent this year and I hope I will win more championships.
Yep, indeed. You were just a force to be reckoned with here. You've gained a pole position in every race except for one. You have won every race except for two. That is the most dominant streak. That is the best statistic I've ever seen in Caribbean Motor Racing Sim Club history. Martin Toth, bow down. You are a force to be reckoned with. Martin, I'll give you the floor now. Todd, tell me about your race. How was that one?
I just had a bad start, but I do many mistakes and I just set it low fuel and I totally damaged the car on the start. So I was really slow on every straight. So I was pushing and I just ended second.
Indeed, yeah. Take me through those final couple laps there. We saw you were pushing very hard for Daniel Williams, but a mistake cost you out, and you are now battling to defend your P2. How were those last couple laps?
Yeah, I did many mistakes, but tires were dead and car totally dead. So, nice P2.
Nice P2 indeed. Martin Toth, you have now qualified, and you are now the first driver to have qualified for the 2023 Race of Champions at the end of this year, in contention to be claimed champion of Caribbean Motor Racing Sim Club for 2023. Congratulations on that championship and that P2 for you. What a drive. Now we go up into the man who actually won this race that we still gotta shine just as much spotlight. Daniel Williams, you were so quick around here and you won this one. What a race for you. How was that?
Oh man, that was a really good race. I'm kind of a bit confused where I got all the pace from because I think I was faster than I was in quali or practice during the week. But Martin did give me a good run for my money. But in the end, yeah, it was a really good race.
You had this car down to a wire there. You were just... The strategy played out perfectly as well, and that's one thing I also want to highlight. That was the best strategy call you could have ever made to just get with Martin Toth to defend that undercut spot. How was those moments?
I was actually looking at his laps, so as I do my lap, the lap times would pop up. So I was just waiting for the lap that he is faster. As soon as he went faster, I would have pit. But I didn't know where the pit stop, where the line began, so I didn't know where to slow down. So I lost a lot of time in the pit stop. But yeah, it was tight. When I exited the pit and I saw him right next to me, I was like, oh man, I honestly thought he had me, but somehow, I don't know, he did make a mistake, but yeah, it was a good race.
Indeed, yeah. The very first race at Monza, you won that one. And now to sign off this championship, you give us one final win. Daniel, is this hopefully a turning point for what's to come in the future?
Only time will tell. If I have the time, I will. But
awesome. Well, we're always glad to have you racing with us, and we can't wait to see you in the next one. Congratulations. Big win there for you. And in third position, Ian Lance. Wow. That was a mega drive from you. You get onto the podium. How's that?
It was good, you know. It was a very nice race. Not a lot of drama, but yeah, I was leading for a bit. It was fun. I really wanted to catch the guys in first and second. I knew I would have to try to get the jump into VAR. He was behind me pushing, and I came out of the pits like just ahead of him. His tires were not ready, so I used that opportunity to, of course, increase the gap. It was really fun, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you for your hard work all season. Beautiful racing.
And awesome, and we're always happy to see you racing with us as well. Ian, I hope to see you in the next upcoming championships we have in store. That is going to do it there. Congratulations as well for that P3 spot. And that's going to do it for us here at Okayama. And finally, this championship has come to a close. I want to open the floor up now to everyone here in the chat. As we always do at the end of these championships, I just want to have a little discussion with you guys. How was that championship? How was the cars, the tracks? How was this series as a whole? You guys all have the floor.
Good and bad.
The best.
Fair enough. Yeah, good and bad, the best. Yeah, honestly, this championship, a lot more competitive than the first one. A lot of these cars were able to battle with each other very closely. And yeah, of course, we ran these cars last year, and the difference between last year and this year was the power. So both of these cars, both of those two sets of cars have now gotten different power upgrades. So these cars were actually a little bit more on the heavy side. You would have noticed that if you are some of the drivers who had figured out that the way to get these cars to go around fast is a lot of short shifting and using high gears around corners. I don't know if anyone really caught that throughout the championship. That was one way to go faster. These cars were way heavier than last year, but it allowed to corner a lot better, especially for those front engine cars. But other than that, I think that was a solid championship we've done here for our very first series in 2023. No news yet for the next championship. However, that will be confirmed to start at the last week of April. So as we head into April now, we have a bit of a scatter of championships now. So the next two rounds we head for NASCAR. It's going to be, next up we have Auto Club Speedway at Fontana. That's going to be next week. The week after that, that's going to be Phoenix Raceway. So it's a doubleheader for NASCAR. Then we head back to IMSA. Week after that, it's Talladega for the Cup Series finale. So only 4 rounds for that, for the Cup Series. And then we begin our brand new championship. The trailer will be dropping very soon, or maybe when you least expect it. As for that, though, like I said, that's going to end us off here for the DTM World Championships. We are going to return for the 2024 DTM Championship next year. As for these cars, you're going to have to face them one more time at the Race of Champions at the end of the year, where we go for one last extra round for the Race of Champions, which is just going to be a compilation of every single championship we do throughout the whole year, and ended it off at the very end. That's going to be our very last championship to crown our Caribbean Motor Racing Sim Champion. I'm going to leave the Discord now just for a moment to say goodbye to the stream. You guys are free to stay in the Discord if you want to have a conversation after the stream. And what a race that was. Martin Toth has done it. He is now our first champion of Caribbean Motor Racing Sim Club. So, what does that mean? I'll give you guys a little bit of a brief explanation on how Race of Champions work. You've heard me mention that a couple times now. What is Race of Champions? Race of Champions is a compilation of every single championship compiled into one that is run at the end of the year. So basically, if we take a look at last year's championship, we started off, our first run was the DTM Championship. Then it was the TCR Euro Asia Championship. Then we were at IndyCar, followed by GT3, the 90s Touring Car Championship. To sign us off, we were going to have the Caribbean Championship as well, but we did run out of time at the end of the year due to some unfortunate events. But this year, the Race of Champions is in full swing, And that's also going to mean that there's a kind of a qualifying system to get in Race of Champions. So the way to get in Race of Champions is by winning a current championship. So pretend like all these championships are like qualifiers for the very end. However, just because now Martin Toth has won this championship, if he wins his second championship in the next series that we do, that will be the Cup Series. Whoever wins the Cup Series, if that were to be Martin Toth, it will look at the driver who finishes in second place, and that man will qualify for Race of Champions. Championship after that, the third man will qualify. That's if we have a repeating champion in the process. So there will be at least 5 to 6 drivers at the end of the year who will be highlighted to become champion of 2023. That's enough rambling for me today. What a race this was, starting off with the worst weather we've seen and now ending it off with an amazing action-packed finale there. Once again, if you are new to Kirby Motor Racing Sim Club, and if you want to get in to the closest action here in the most wholesome group, a lot of people like to call it, we have our banter, we love motorsports, we love sim racing, and we love competition. Join us. I have the pinned Discord at the top of the comment section. That's also, sorry, not the comment section, the live chat. It's also in the Discord, as well as our social media links, including TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, where you're going to find points and highlights of our championship season and all races here at Caribbean Motor Racing Sim Club. Join us today, or if you're a fan, hit that subscribe button. You do not want to miss out on another race. Next week, it's Fontana. NASCAR is always close. I cannot wait for that one. But we say goodbye to Okayama, as I think it's fair to say we're going to see this as our finale next year out. But as for now, we say goodbye to such a beautiful circuit. Okayama International. We say goodbye, and we say goodbye to the DTM World Championships. Congratulations, Martin Toth, our youngest world champion. Thank you for tuning in this evening, and we see you next week for more action at Caribbean Motor Racing Sim Club. My name is Rahul Nasir, signing off. Have a good rest of your day. And shout out to you guys in the chat as well. You guys are awesome communicating. Apologies for not being able to talk that much in the chat. You guys gotta give me a little extra warning at this one. That was a great race.